I'm live. Day 3. Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so filled by coming here over the last 2 days, now 3 days. Tomorrow will be 4 days, and sharing this amazing information that I love to share. One of my most favorite things in the world is to spout wisdom, to share my stories, to share my life experiences, and the opportunity that I gave myself by being here with all of you to teach this 4-part formula over the last 3 days and soon to be 4 days is such a tank filler for me. And I'm really loving seeing the interaction. I'm loving seeing how amazing you guys, you gals are all stepping into this material, and how many women have joined this Facebook group newly since we began inviting you in the last week. And it just fills me up so much. It's definitely a desire manifested for me. So I just want to say thank you for showing up. And I'm super excited for day 3 and step 3. We're getting juicy, and things are getting hot out there. I'm loving it. So before we begin, I want to ground us once again, and then we're going to dive into today's step, which is all about listening for the guidance. Actually, listening and looking for the guidance. All right, so for those of you that are in a safe place to do so, I'm assuming you all are because you're watching and hopefully not driving, but I invite you to close your eyes, put your hands on your lap if possible, feet on the floor, and let's just take a moment to feel our feet today, to feel that beautiful touch point connection between what is underneath us, everything from the floor to the building to the dirt to the earth, and just feel that connection, feel that groundedness, very much like you felt your sit bones, which you can also bring awareness to, feeling completely supported and held, both by your current environment, the very thing that has you held physically in this moment, and by what you're about to receive and what you've been receiving. So I want you to imagine roots out your feet, just like a tree. We're going to connect into the ancient wisdom that is here to nourish you. So take those roots and just pull them deep into the earth, so we can pull from all of the ancestral wisdom, all of those who have come before us, even deeper beyond this current last couple of centuries, or really last 5,000 years, where this information that I'm sharing with you got lost and distorted and disjointed and buried and covered up. So let's root down as far 5,000, 6,000, 10,000, 20,000 years deep into the earth, so that we can draw up the cellular memory of this planet, so that we can use that power to awaken the cellular memory within inside of us, so that it can help us to reach up and higher, spreading your arms up and out. Go ahead and reach up. As you're rooting down, you are reaching up to the heavens, to the cosmos, to connect that ancient wisdom knowledge with the higher cosmic powerful knowledge, that reaching for your desires, that allowing yourself to grow, to become more, to step toward what is rightfully yours, to call upon all of the universe to be part of your force of energy and manifestation magic ability. So you draw up as you pull up, and you draw up and you pull up, and from that up, you spread your fingers wide fingers, like little tree leaves and branches that'll reach out, and all of the tendrils reaching toward the heavens, knowing that you are there to be a receptor as well from all of the light and love and energy that is available to you from the outside world that we're going to be talking about today. Bathing and basking in this external light, letting it feed you from the top down through your arms and proverbial branches back down through the body of your trunk, your sexy lady trunk, all the way down into the roots of your feet, down into the earth. Feeling just the energy of the up and the down and the down and the up and the up and the down and the down and the up, and the center point, which is your heart and your belly, the knowingness, the divine feminine essence that is your core, that is here for you, that is with you always in this embodied form. In this lifetime, you chose to show up and be a woman. In this lifetime, we're going to honor that fully as we have been. Honor each other fully as we have been. Honor the beauty of all of the desires that might seem so big and so up there. And we're going to honor all of the wisdom that we are releasing from this moment and retrieving from this moment on. All of it is divine. How we choose to use it, how we choose to be with it, how we choose to interact with the world gets to shift in this very moment with this information and beyond. So just feel that and breathe that in. You can drop your hands down if you haven't already. You can just feel the shift that may have occurred in your energy field, in that reaching, in that rooting, in that grounding, in that pulling, in that lifting. The polarity, the divination of the masculine and the feminine, the union of the two and the center point that is now, the bringing back into balance, that which once was out of balance, that which may still be a little out of balance, and that which we are calling back into homeostasis by remembering, reconnecting, realigning to this very potent information that you have come here today to receive. So with that, let's take a deep breath in together. And release it with a sigh. And a wiggle, 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 wiggle. I invite you to open your eyes and join the party. Day 3 of the Art of Effortless Feminine Manifestation. Right here, right now. So happy to have you here. Looks like there's a little bit of technology issues out there. Once again, I want to remind you, if things are not working out for you, it could just be a bandwidth thing, an internet thing, it could be a browser thing. So play around, and yeah, if it's not working for whatever reason, know that you are not meant to be here in this exact moment live, but you can definitely catch the replay as Sarah just shared. So sorry to see you go, Sarah, but I know that you're committed and you'll be showing up at a later time, which is why these are all recorded. All right, so day 3, and we are going to get some fun on with our step 3, which is all about listening and looking for the guidance in the 4 L's of effortless feminine manifestation process. Once again, for those of you who don't know me or are just getting to know me, I am Sierra Sullivan, and I created this online learning party to teach you, my dear sisters, a proven, and I mean proven, amazingly fun and fabulous manifestation formula that is pleasure-filled and helps you command your life in a way that feels more aligned, more at ease, more enjoyable, without having to work so darn hard, which we covered in depth in yesterday's video. So I want to give a big, happy, warm, and welcome hug. Hello, ladies. Welcome back. For those of you that have been here this entire time on this journey, welcome to any new ladies, newcomers that are just popping in for the first time today. I'm so happy to have you here. Just shout out, say hi, give some thumbs up. Yay, just got a heart. Let me know who's out there, who's on, who's listening, who's watching, and who's ready to receive the goodness. For those of you that are new, once again, hey, Keela, welcome back, yay. For those of you that are new, I have shared in the past, if you have not had a moment to catch up on video 1 and video 2, that's okay. Be here with us now. Receive what today has to offer. Yay, thanks for the thumbs up. Woohoo! Yay, everybody. And just make sure that you carve out some time over the next 24 hours to catch yourself up. Each step that I'm offering to you is really a process that builds upon the previous steps. And although I'm going to give you an overview, aw, thanks Michelle, I rock, yes I do, it's true. Each step really does depend on the previous step. This is a very specific formula, and I really want you to get the depth of the juiciness and the practices and home plays that I've offered you, and dive in with this community of sisterhood to really get this in your bones, in your beingness, right? This is why I'm not giving it to you all at once, as I've said previously. It's over a course of a couple of days so that we can really spend some time practicing. And I know 4 days is a really small window, and I'm going to talk more about that as well. But at least it gives us time to connect, to feel into it, to put stuff out on the Facebook forum, to connect with our sisters, to see some results, and not just have a big old notebook or piece of paper filled with information that then you go back into your life and you're like, what was that? How was that? And like you're way up in your head. I am a commitment in my life is to get women out of our heads and into our beingness, our bodies, and our knowing, so that we can actually really have a more amazing life than you may already have, more ease-filled, pleasure-filled. Okay, so this session, as previously stated, is going to be approximately 50 to 60 minutes long, give or take. And then I will stay on a little bit longer to answer any questions. There hasn't been a lot of questions that I've seen, so you ladies are smart little cookies who are hungry and ripe and ready for this information, so I'm super stoked about that. As I said, I know this isn't many of your first rodeos. You've probably read books and seen movies and even practiced this and probably even possibly teach this information. So I understand and value the wisdom that you bring and the knowledge that you bring. And I'm excited to see how this little tweak of this information potentially, or the way that I have formulated and delivered it to you, can have more of an impact in your life. So, you know, it's not new. We're remembering, and we're stepping toward it in a community of practice that gives us an opportunity to play with this and get the proof that you need, that I need, that she needs, that she needs, that she needs, that you need, in order to actually know that this formula does work. Okay, where am I at? All right. Yeah, the other thing I want to say is, so I guess I've already kind of said it, but this is really, really, really just the tip of the iceberg. Oh, thanks, Kayla. I'm so glad you're loving this tweak. It is a tweak. It's a really big tweak because it breaks it down, right? It really breaks it down. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like literally we're getting this much of this much in how this can actually be absorbed and utilized and leveraged in your life. And you know, over 4 days with hour-long Facebook Lives, it's really just more of a 101. So for some of you, it's a refresher. For some of you, it's a reminder. For some of you, it's a tweak. For some of you, it's maybe some brand new concepts. It doesn't matter where you're at, because I know that in hearing this, no matter how many turns around the sun you've been on, or workshops or seminars, or how many times you've studied this, it's useful to actually understand it at this level and to play in this realm. So this is, though, just a tiny bit of what's actually possible. And there is an opportunity, as I shared a little bit yesterday, there is an opportunity to go deeper with me and really dive into these concepts over a longer period of time. 4 days, manifestation can happen like that. I'm absolutely a proponent and have seen that happen. And the one thing that's unfortunately in the way of many of us is our long-term conditioning and decades and decades and decades of a lifetime of conditioning. So this depends on where you're at and what you're looking for and how easy and fun and fulfilled and magical you desire your life to be. So if you're somebody that is already like, yeah, this is great, and I absolutely would want to go further. In fact, what I'd like to say, if you're ready to become a black belt in magical manifestation, or maybe a white belt, because we're really playing with white magic here, not black magic. So maybe it's a white belt. Black belt's like, the expert. So if you're ready to become a black belt in magical manifestation, I will share more in a little bit about where you can go and, get on the phone with me or talk to me or connect with me, or just, say yes and join the deeper, longer, more fulfilling practice deep dive experience that I have planned for later this month. All right, today's lesson is one of my favorite parts of the formula. because it invites you to go deeper inside yourself and begin to realign your vision with the unseen. Right? This is where we get to suspend all of what we've been known to be true and stand in the faith and the trust and the magic of what life is here to bring us. So I'm really excited about that, because my most favorite thing in the whole wide world is to play in the realms of the magic and the mystical and the mystery. And so that's what today is all about. That's really what this whole formula is about. But today in particular is where we get to open up our receptors and receptivity in which to actually receive that data and start to understand how available that data is to us every day, and become more finely and acutely tuned into being able to receive that information in which to then leverage and utilize it in what we're going to be covering tomorrow, which is the actionable steps that you're going to want to take once you're in this realm of the listening and the looking for the guidance. All right, who here desires more magic in your life? If you do, give me some hearts, give me some thumbs up, give me a hell yeah on the message boards. We are ready to bring it up, rock it up, step it up, amp it up, and really rock the magic. All right, I got one thumbs up. Oh, there's a heart. Okay, a couple of hearts. Yay. Awesome. Love it, ladies. Cool. All right, then you're going to love this step 3. And this, as I mentioned, is all about listening. Listening. When you're leaning way back, you are listening. You're looking for the guidance. Because what you're going to receive from this step is you're going to get pointed to specifically where your desires reside. Right? This is like the go this way. And that's exciting, right? Because otherwise we're like blind, doozing, pile of doo-doo. Where do I go? I don't know. I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to make it happen. And, yeah, you can make it happen. We do. We've seen it. Like, it happens. We make it happen. But at the cost of what? And the loss of really the pure blissful magic that's available in every moment. Okay, so before we jump into step 3, though, I want to give you a brief recap and overview of what we covered so we can bring everybody up to speed, and any of you that just, was like, I don't know what she was talking about yesterday, this lean back thing, just get you a little bit more of a depth of understanding. That's going to help you move forward. And again, those of you that have not watched video 1, yeah, thanks for the hearts and the thumbs, have not watched videos 1 and 2, you'll definitely want to dive into that, soon, before the end of the week. Okay, in yesterday's live video, I shared, obviously, step 2 of this 4-part proven process of how to attract what you want from a feminine perspective. And step 2 was the lean back. Oh yeah, lean back. Lean way back. And we talked a lot about what does that look like? What does actually leaning back mean? And why it's important. We covered what the real difference between doing versus being is, and how and why being is actually more of a preferred state, funny enough, crazily enough, when it comes to manifesting your desires more quickly and efficiently and effectively. Did you grok this one, ladies? Are you starting to get this one? Because this one is, really like the potent, this is where you actually completely flip and you jump into a whole different dimension of understanding, and you actually step outside of the matrix and begin to create a whole new neural pathway in your brains and in your bodies of what it actually takes to create your life without all that freaking efforting. All right, we also talked about why doing gets in the way of your abilities to see clearly. What's actually needed and required of you to fulfill your desires, being able to see clearly. If we are muddled and muddy and out of focus from the very things that are right in front of our face, we can't see them. And then we doubt, and we do, and then we doubt some more, and it's a vicious cycle. We also covered the importance of a deep knowing that your mere existence in this world is, gosh, more than enough. I mean, way more than enough to create and have, be, do anything that your heart's desires. And unfortunately, how you've led to believe otherwise. You know, it happens, right? We got caught up in a little bit of a third dimension. Well, it's okay. Maybe even a little two dimension. Sometimes even a little one dimension. It's okay. We're giving it the well-roundedness. We're rounding it out, right? That's what women do. We like to round things out. We're circle ladies. So, and we talked about what you can do about it. So, for example, how the leaning back really, really helps you come back into that being state, right? It's the pattern interrupt, or the an antidote to all the doing. All right. We also talked about the biological design of women and the diffuse awareness that is actually built into our physical systems that gives us the ability to see wider and farther. Because when we are in our feminine essence, we are activating that diffuse awareness. And that is what helps you get to where you want to be faster, because that gives you the information and the data. It's like a different kind of data processor, which allows you to run your programming being, the very being that you are meant to birth into, filled with, to be on this planet, however that's meant to look for you, which is where your desires spring from, the wellspring of that beingness, that calling, that life purpose that you're not going to figure out from here, that you're just going to allow your desires to spring forward and guide you on, versus having to figure it out and then go the other way, which is not so much fun. So we're upping the biological design and awakening your diffuse awareness so that you have more understanding and vision to see beyond the veil, see beyond the seen, experience beyond the believable. Okay. And I'm sure we talked about a few other things that maybe I didn't mention here, but you go back and watch the video. All right, step 3, listen and look for the guidance. Woo-hoo! So excited. All right, this one is probably another one of the steps that can be a little bit more challenging. Probably tomorrow's is maybe the easiest from past conditioning. However, it's going to be requesting of you to only leap into the action when you are really have fully gone through steps 1, steps 2, and steps 3. So this one can be a little challenging for some of you. And why is that? Because we've gotten really good, and I mean really good, at numbing, distracting, and seeking outside of our guidance. We've been conditioned to look for validation outside of ourselves, and so much so that we oftentimes don't even know what our guidance looks like half the time. I mean, I get asked all the time from women, how do I tell the difference between my intuition and my fear, and what's the voice I'm supposed to be listening to? And we're going to touch on that today, but really it's about the distractions that we've created for ourselves and that the world has created for us, in which to drive merchandise and consumerism to pull us out of ourselves, so that we feel that the outside, having things from the outside, can actually help us feel better, but they actually help us feel more empty, and really then take away our powers, which is I could give a whole history lesson on where this happened and how this happened and why this happened, and that could be a course in and of itself. I will be covering some of that in the longer course for sure, because it's really eye-opening when you really understand how we got to this moment. As much as life can be very exciting and Facebook can be very playful and fun and ways to connect, which I'm loving, thank you Facebook, it's also been an interesting pathway away from our deeper knowing, which is why some of you, maybe many of you, myself included at times, gets lost in the shuffle and forgets to really tune back in and be aware and available to the guidance and be tuned into the guidance. That's why this is so important, so important. Thanks for the hearts. So today I'm going to give you very specific ways to look for the guidance and to explore easy yet profound ways to access it. Again, I can't say enough that this is built and contingent on the first 2 steps. So I want you to know that even though you're receiving these 4 steps over 4 days, it takes practice. This is really a major major practice. And in order to really access your guidance, you have to have mastered to some degree the lean back, which is step 2, right? That is really listening to guidance and being able to know which guidance is true and authentic in order to then leap in tomorrow's step is contingent on the ability and the mastery of the leaning back. So just know that. That's like an essential part of this formula. And, you know, as I've said all along, that you type A's, which I also have been and sometimes still am, a type A personality, we're a little addicted, we have been a little addicted to the false belief that we've got to prove ourselves in the world in which to actually be valued in the world. If you're one of those ladies, just say thumbs up or be like, yeah, that's me. You know, like this idea that I've got to go make something happen and prove something and be very successful in a certain arena or have shown the world that I'm, you know, this awesome or that awesome or can create this or create that in order to actually feel validated, because that's the flaw, right? We're not, it doesn't matter what the world thinks. Thanks for the heart. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what the world thinks. Yeah. So anyways, it's really about not feeling like we have to prove ourselves. So this listening to the guidance piece might be a bit tricky because you're going to be listening to guidance and hearing guidance and heeding guidance where it's actually going to probably go against what you would otherwise believe are actions that you need to be taking in which to create your life. So this one, you know, you might have gone through the lean back and then you get to listen for guidance and then you're ready to leap because that's what you're really good at. All of you, you're ready to leap, you're used to the leap, but don't leap until you're really clear that the guidance is accurate because you've really leaned back and you've lingered long enough in your desire. So you're starting to see how these are coming together. Okay, quick reminder too, in being here and learning this material, you are literally undoing, unlearning, and redirecting a very long time carved out pattern of thoughts, behaviors, and societal conditioning. Right? That's not just a little side note or a little footnote. Like, yeah, we're having fun, yeah, we're connecting, or some fun things are starting to manifest, you're starting to get the concept, you're playing in your desires, lingering, it's super juicy, and so much can come from that. And you're coming out of a Grand Canyon carved out groove of old world thinking that is not gonna, you're not gonna redirect the Colorado River in 4 days. I mean, it's just not gonna happen. You're like, yeah, just move the river over here and we're gonna flow that way now. I wish, but it would take a full-on dam to be built. It would take a, that's what nice, what Crystal says, that's why I majored in engineering. I excelled in it and was passionate about the concept, but it's not what I wanted to do. I thought I had to prove, yeah, awesome, exactly, right. How many times have we made decisions thinking that we can prove to the world that we're worthy, we're smart, we're intelligent, we can do this? Hillary Clinton's a great example, right? There's something off that women felt about her, and as much as I love her as a human being and who she stood for and as a beautiful role model of achieving, you know, something was off, right? Why is she really doing this? Why is she really doing this? Why do any of us really do what we do? I had to blow up a whole brand to come back to just the beingness. I mean, and I've blown up a few brands actually, because I've gotten to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really out there now, but something's off, right? So we're going to be questioning that. We are questioning that. So regardless, a Grand Canyon is not going to be, a Grand Canyon of thought processes, of beliefs and behaviors are not going to be changed in 4 days. You're going to get an opportunity to begin and break ground on the new pathway for sure, and a little trickle of water is probably going to start flowing in that direction, and the more you keep redirecting that trickle of water, the sooner or later you're going to have a new neural pathway, and then that old pattern and pathway will dry up and you'll just be in the new flow, which is awesome. And as much as you're all super rockin' amazing ladies, I'm asking you to lean back, and that means you're not going to necessarily get it done in 4 days. It's taken me years and I'm still on this process. So be patient and know that what you are learning and practicing here with me is just the first step toward a long, beautiful, unfolding, powerful journey that you're going to be able to master this formula over time as you begin to work it into your life. The key to this and why I chose to host these classes in this particular Facebook group, like I could have done it on my homepage, I could have done it on Zoom, I could have done it all different ways, but why I chose to actually bring this information to you in this particular Fun Fab Femme Girlfriends Facebook group is because it puts you in a bubble and a container of sisterhood with many women who've been to my past programs or through my past courses where I have taught this material and more, who have already developed a bit of a mastery in this arena in some form or another, or at least are familiar enough with these concepts. So that any of you new ladies that have come in, which I'm so happy to have you here, I'm so excited to like up the playfulness and the power of this group and to invite you into this conversation and experience more than anything. But you're now actually supported really well with a group of women, you know, a couple hundred of them in this group have an understanding of this. So they're there to support you. We're there to support each other. As you're learning this, you're going to support each other as well. And that puts us in a very specific bubble in which to really inculcate and incubate this information. We already know, we've already covered this, out there, the world at large, this is foreign to them. This is really foreign to them because we've all subscribed to the seen versus the unseen. We've subscribed to the proving it versus the being it, the doing it versus the being it. So the opportunity within this little Facebook bubble of community and sisterhood and this time frame is essential. It's super essential for your ability to play with these concepts for as long as you want. I mean, this Facebook group will go on for however long. And so it's really potent and really powerful for you to access and utilize and leverage and connect with the other women in this group while you're learning these concepts. Because if you go out into the world and bring this information to people that are not in this conversation, you're going to get a lot of backlash. You're going to get a lot of, also depending on your ability to believe and step into this, you'll get the reflection of how deep into this process you really are, because the rest of your world is going to go, what are you, nuts? You know, this is crazy. You can't just be and have things show up. Like, that's just magical thinking, right? You know, so you'll get a lot of that, and then that'll actually water your seeds of doubt versus water your seeds of self-mastery and knowingness, which is not what you want. Right? You're here because you're ready. You're here because you're willing. You're here because you know in your deepest heart of hearts that what you're learning here has merit, has truth. And to go back out and be in communities, whether it be family or friends or work environments or even sometimes relationship environments that don't support this, is going to make it that much harder to water these beautiful seeds of your deeper knowing and to have them fully express and grow. So that's why utilize the power of the sisterhood, the power of this time, the power of this group to bring you up and through. And that's also why I'm like, get your girlfriends back here, because if you're hanging out with them, they need to be in this conversation too. And then together you can form your own little pods of power posse ladies and really rock your manifestation. So, you know, I encourage that not as a self-motivating gain. Of course, I'm happy to have more women and have them learn and potentially, you know, come and play with me in deeper learning environments. But really, it's more for your benefit because I desire you to have the amount of support and encouragement and level of depth and understanding that's available. Exactly, agreement is so important. Like, we need to have everybody on the same page in order to do this. Like, you know, there's been, if you look at the way bandwidth works and internet and energy, when you're on an internet system and everybody's sharing, what happens is the internet will slow down, will kind of dumb itself down to match the lowest computer. That's what it used to happen. They've gotten better systems. But so you get a bunch of new computers and you get a bunch of old computers, and the system kind of bogs down to meet the lower system. Well, that's what happens in your life, right? You want to hang around with as many high vibrational people that are matching your frequency, because if you're out there in a world and they're down here, you're going to get pulled down here. That's just, it's like, you know, you just get pulled down. High frequency takes a certain amount of energy. Lower frequency takes less amount of energy. So you don't want to get pulled down into the path of least resistance, which is what the world is kind of crunky and negative and pissed off and upset and not really living their dreams and pissed off that you're living your dreams and telling you you can't live your dreams and all sorts of funky stuff. So stay in the bubble. Stay stay in the bubble. Keep that vibration super high, and when you're out there and you get lowered, you come back in here and you get pumped up again. Okay, so what else do I have to say about that? I know we're chomping at the bit here to get to the thing, but this is super important. The other reason why it's important to be in the energy of these videos now, and I've mentioned this a couple times previous videos, is we are currently in this live now. If you're watching this a couple weeks from now, who knows where we'll be, but if you're watching this live now, which you are, we're in the tail end of a new moon cycle. So new moon is a really potent time, and this was a pretty potent moon. I know a lot of stuff was getting shooken up for a lot of people, myself included, but it's a time for rapid transformation because the energy of the moon is ripe for the newness in your life. And it's all about wishes and desires and intentions. And so although we're on the very tail end, like it's 7 to 14 days after a new moon, we go into the waxing phase. We are right in that sort of tail end, stepping into the waxing phase where being in this energy, in this bubble of the girlfriends group, as well as in this power time together here live over these 4 days to up the ante of our ability to call in our manifestations. So you're learning this at the perfect time. So don't delay. Don't wait 2 weeks to watch these or stay engaged. Like, make the space and be in this now, because we can harness the power of the planetary universe to our advantage, which is so good. So good. And then the other thing I want to say about the waxing moon is a perfect energy for success, for new ventures and opportunities. So as you're getting clear on your desires, it's really going to pump it up. So you've got another 7 days or so after this, 7 to 10 days, depending on, to really like harness that energy. So calling in the things that you really desire. And it's also a perfect time. Spirit guided me. I didn't even really, as much as I'm looking forward to having more access to planning my life around the new moon and the moon cycles, I don't always do it as much as I'd like to. And so, but it happened to work out this way. So the waxing moon is a perfect energy for joining new groups and having new experiences. So both in here for this experience and for the next experience that is on the table as an offering to you, it's really a good time for that. It's a perfect time for that. So let's harness that, really. I mean, it's gonna work for us or against us regardless, so we might as well be conscious of it, cognizant of it, and utilize it while also utilizing the sisterhood. So just real quick, that being said, yesterday I mentioned I want you to know that there is a 8-week deep dive program that is available to you. It's called Magic, Miracles, and Manifestation. Ooh, la 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 la. And we've covered these 4 concepts, but we're going to go each week. You're going to have a week to work very specific concepts that are aligned with these 4 principles. And same type of energy, you're going to have 8 weeks to be with your sisters, and you're going to actually choose something very specific that you want to manifest out of your desires. We're going to help you get really, really clear, and then we're going to utilize all of the tools and teachings and realms of magic based on this formula to actually have you manifest that very thing. So from the beginning to the end, my promise to you is that you will have an experience of manifestation truly in relationship to a specific thing that you're desiring that brings it into you. And I usually have about a 75 to 80% success rate in that realm when you give it the time and energy. So if you really want to manifest something and you love the support and you want to harness the moon energy and this energy and my guidance, take a look at that program and just take a look. And if you're a yes, let's chat or just register. And if you're not for you, then move along and just work these videos. I'm not married either way. I'm just excited because we have a potent time. We have the summertime. We're all already in this energy, and it feels like taking a longer journey with me would be amazingly fun and really give you what you're seeking in a deeper level. So real quick, and then we're going to get on to the juicy listen. That link, once again, I shared it yesterday, is lifestylized.com. /manifest. So Lifestylize is spelled LIFESTYLIZED.com/manifest. There's not much more on that page other than another juicy video from me. And hey, it's like all about, I want you to feel it and do it. That's it. There's no hard sell. That's it. You know if you're right for it. You know if you're ready for it. And that's who I want in this next step. And I'm excited to have you for today's step. Okay. So what does listen to your guidance actually mean or look like? Now, I know I'm talking to some pretty wise women, and there's nothing probably new, again, that I'm going to say to you. It's just going to be an awakening and a reminder for what's possible. Because as I mentioned, we get totally caught up in all sorts of crazy stuff, and we forget, and that's why we have to be reminded, and so on and so forth. Thanks, loves. Thanks for posting that link for me. There are many, many, many paths to listening to your guidance, right? There's no one path. There's a million paths. And we've got so many. We've got the 5 senses. We've got the 6 senses, the 7 senses, the 8 senses. You know, there's so many different ways that guidance wants to come to us in all forms, whether it be song or smell or touch or symbology or coincidence or synchronicities or you know, I mean, you name it. I mean, the realm of the magical is unlimited. So I want to awaken your senses today with a few possibilities in which to be in the listening, looking, guidance, presencing. So the first step, regardless of how the guidance wants to come to you or how you receive your guidance, is in slowing down. Right? And I mean slowing really down, which is leaning back, right? As I shared, I believe it was yesterday, I had gotten very clear guidance that I was meant to lean back. And then over the course of those next few years after I got that guidance, was I'm supposed to actually change the way I walk. And I think I shared that because I'm a fast walker. And so now I saunter. Now I'm like, I'm not in a rush to get anywhere, rarely. And when I am, I become cognizant of the emotions that are rising up in me and the fury and scurry that are starting to overtake me. And I slow down because I know that I'm going to be missing something incredibly important, incredibly potent, incredibly guiding for my journey if I don't slow down. So that's a practice in and of itself, right? In order to get the guidance, you need to slow the F down. Which means leaning back far enough to be an open enough receptacle in which to receive. So let's just even break this down to biology, right? I mean, our bodies are built, we're built receivers. There's a reason why men plug in to women, right? We are born ready to receive. We have the receiving vessel, we have the portal, we have our pussies, we have the actual portal to the heavens, to all of life, all of creation, built within our own systems. So this is actually our natural state. It's really our natural state. So get ready to be in that receptivity and open it up and lean back. Like, you're not going to receive without opening your legs. Now, I'm not talking about that kind of receiving in general, but as a physical representation, there's a receptivity. So, but we need to receive heart, mind, soul, body openness by leaning back and opening up our pathways. So we are going to look at all the ways that guidance can come, but I found that the easiest guidance that I have found is in the physical evidence that shows up to point us down a path or validate that we are on the right path. So we talked about yesterday breadcrumbs, and some of you have been sharing and posting about the breadcrumbs. Those are the perfect physical receptacles or information that gives you the guidance, right? If you're maybe not somebody that like knows how to listen to your guides or listen to your inner self, or you haven't really honed your intuition or whatever, then let's stay in the realm of the physical for a little while, because you're used to being in the physical, and it's easy to see in the physical. So basically, breadcrumbs are tiny little synchronicities or coincidences, which I don't believe in coincidences, but some of you may like, that's a coincidence. Wow, I just was talking about you, or somebody was telling me I should meet you, and now all of a sudden here you are. Whoa, that's a coincidence. Well, no, that's a synchronicity. Well, actually, no, that's a breadcrumb. That shows that the moment of something led to that information, led to that reality, led to that breadcrumb. So breadcrumbs are like one of the fastest, easiest, most potent, most fun, really, because you're like, oh my God, the breadcrumb, ways to keep you in your high vibration when you celebrate them, and keep going in your lingering and get to your desire that much quicker. Breadcrumbs galore, right? They're so much fun. So sometimes they seem a little Twilight Zone-ish, like do. How? Oh my God, I know this happened. Well, it's you firing up your desire and getting in your conjuring energy, and then pulling from the field of already existence into you, becoming more aware of what's already there, and then actually being able to see the very thing that says, yep, it's been here the whole time, there's a breadcrumb. So that is a huge, energetic, physical, playful, fabulous way to be in the listening for the guidance. So that's why I'm always talking about breadcrumb celebration and breadcrumb seeking and breadcrumb receiving and all that good stuff. Because what's literally happening is the stars are literally aligning from the desire, as we talked about in the first video, to bring you that. So like I said, you're drawing from the field, you're creating, you're co-creating with the heavens and with yourself and with your desire to actually have that physical tangible manifestation, representation show up. Let's see, I'd love to hear any of your breadcrumbs that you've gotten so far. If you want to post them in the chat and just give me some examples of some of the breadcrumbs you've been getting, even in the last couple days, or maybe things you've gotten in your life. Love to see some of those. And so let's just post that in there, and we'll carry on while you're posting some breadcrumbs. Okay, another way to listen to the guidance is to pay attention to your inner voices. And I actually have a whole course that I teach called Tame Your Inner Critic, because what ends up happening is we have a lot of voices inside. We have voices that mostly tell us that we're no good, or that we should be doing this, or all sorts of funky energies. Those voices, when harnessed, when you understand why those voices are there and what they're actually trying to say and why they're actually your ally, which is the whole point of that course that I teach, you can actually really leverage those voices to help you on this process. Now that's a slightly different conversation for another time, but it does tie in, because what happens often is we don't know how to discern the voices within us, and so we just get caught up listening to the ones that are the loudest, that perceivedly seem to be keeping us down versus lifting us up and moving us towards the very things that we desire. Now again, there's a whole formula that I can give you separately in that course that flips the script on those voices and turns them from enemy to ally, but that's a whole other conversation for a whole other time. The point is, guidance often comes from inside of you. Now, I'm going to give some examples of this, because what happens is, what they are is they're like the weird messages that seemingly come out of the blue that make no sense at all to what it is that you think you're supposed to be doing, and more often than not, it's complete conflict to what your mind is telling you or having you do. You get my drift? So, for example, let me see. So, often for me, as I'm a student as well of this information, learning more and more as I go and grow and teach. And I had a great opportunity last night. I got off the call, and I spent all weekend long celebrating myself. It was my birthday weekend. Well, my birthday's coming up, but it was my birthday party weekend. And I ended up spending an extra day with friends who stayed over, and it was beautiful, and I'm so grateful I did. But I took the time that I was meant to be working on this content, which I know in my bones, but putting it together in a semblance of some order. And I ended up going to a little bit of a freak out mode, right? Getting caught up in my doing. I got my little inner doozer turned on. It was like, oh God, I have to do. And I had also at the same time planned, because I didn't get it done over the weekend, even though I put pleasure first, which is what I teach. I ended up getting, I also had scheduled a 6.5 to 7 hour experience with a friend of mine who was all about taking me on a deep dive process into my high priestess. And it was in the middle of this, so it was last night. And I'm like, oh my God, now I'm going to dedicate 7 hours to bliss and meditation and deep healing and high priestessness. And I went into old thought and thought, this is not right. Like, my intuition knew that I needed to schedule that in the midst of this week of delivering this content. And even my higher self told me, don't worry, this is all going to be fine. But I started to freak out in that moment. And my mind wanted to kick in and say, no, you need to cancel it, not go, and this is not going to help you. But instead, I was reminded, thank God, by some of the beautiful people I surround myself with, that actually that's the best thing I could have done, way outside of what I would thought needed to happen, in order to actually get realigned with myself, to show up more powerfully today, versus where I might have gone caught up in my doingness and showed up less than available for all of you in the ways that I'm committed to being for myself and you and the world. And that just doesn't make sense. Like, from a logical standpoint, and I have a friend who's like such a worker bee. Like, she has built her business and that's all she does, and she works and she works and she works and she works. And sometimes I think, God, what would she do? She would cancel her party. She would cancel the thing. She would make sure she got it done. She'd make sure she had her content. And I'm like, but that's not me, because that's not the realm of life that I'm working in. I'm in guidance. I'm listening to my guidance, right? So I'm in constant receptivity, knowing that the guidance for even teaching this class is not going to come from me stressing myself out and sitting down in front of my computer for hours and trying to like make it happen. That's not walking my talk. That's what I'm not even telling you. Like, I want to walk my talk. It's instead coming from leaning back, taking 7 hours out of my day where I'm supposed to be creating content, and actually receiving validation of who I am, bolstering me up, and then having me actually be more focused, because I got this done in an hour, to actually then come back and guide all of you. So that's what I mean. It's like not going to make sense when your guidance comes. It's actually going to most often tell you to do things that feel counterintuitive. Like, you might be in the middle of trying to get an email written for a very important thing that you're doing, and you're stressing out because it's not flowing, and your guidance says, call your friend Jill. And you're like, Jill? Why would I call my friend Jill? Like, what does she got? She's nothing for me. But you're like, I gotta write this email. But if you are obedient to that guidance, and you actually pick up the phone and call Jill, or better yet, maybe the spirit actually has Jill call you, which sometimes happens, you can't avoid it. It's like, I was just thinking of you. Whoa, I called you. Whoa, hey, by the way, I've got this thing, blah, 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 that maybe was the very thing that you were working so hard to create the email for, that ends up actually just showing up in your lap. Okay, this is really, really, really how it works. And we think that's not productive. Productive means going and making sure you get the email out, so you invite people to the party or to the gathering or the event, or to tell somebody something, when actually there's probably a path of least resistance that's knocking on your door and speaking to you from all sorts of different ways, definitely your intuition and your inner voices, and you're going, no, that's not it. And then all of a sudden, that really was it. So you have a moment of choice, right? To either listen and leap, and take that leap of faith and take that action that has been told you when you've already been listening and asking, or not, and keep going down the same path and keep having the same results, and then feeling bad about yourself. So we have a choice. So that's why listening to the guidance, leaning back, listening to the guidance is so important. I can go on and on about examples, but I know we're getting close to the top of the hour and I got a little bit more to go. Okay, a big thing is to listening to your guidance is trusting yourself more. Trust yourself more, right? As I just shared, the guidance that's gonna come is gonna go against a lot of conditioning for you. And you're gonna have to build up, you're gonna really have to build up your own trust muscle within yourself and be like, I might mess this up. Like, yeah, you might mess it up. You might take an action and then all of a sudden think, oh, well, that didn't help me. And then you're gonna wanna dip back into the old ways of being. But the only way to develop a new muscle and develop a new pathway and to get that water flowing, which eventually will become the new Grand Canyon, is to trust yourself and go, you know what, this doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to trust it enough because I asked and I'm in this process and I'm open and available and I'm going to take that action. Again, we're going to talk more about all the actions tomorrow, but this is, this all ties in. So you're going to have to suspend your own conditioning to see beyond and through the matrix. And that takes courage, and that takes commitment, and that takes practice. It takes practice, a lot of practice. A lot of practice. And a lot of trust. And a lot of courage. You get my drift. So the important thing is to get quiet. To get really, really quiet. I just, a couple weeks ago, came off a 10-day silent Vipassana meditation where you are completely removed from the world. And I had a lot of quiet time. You're not speaking, you're just meditating, no phone, no writing, no reading, no nothing. Boy, did I get some guidance. I didn't even realize how blocked my channels were. I mean, if we think about it, every single day, just forget about Facebook, forget about social media, forget about all the distractions just for a second. Just even going through your day, the amount of data and information, things like you're sitting in your room and all of a sudden the leaf blower's going on, or the dump trucks are going by, or somebody's knocking at your door, or all of a sudden you're judging yourself because you're not completing this thing that you're supposed to complete, or you're staring at the mirror going, my thighs are a little heavier looking today, or I got that new wrinkle. Like, that is bandwidth. That's noise. Then we add in all of the noise of Facebook. You're on there and you just all of a sudden a text comes in or a Facebook feed pops up, and next thing you know, you're like, the amount of emotion, you're happy for your friend, you're sad that, or you're jealous, or you're this, or you're that, and you go through your day ping-ponging all over the place. Where is there space for the guidance to come in? Barely. And then if you're eating junk food and sugar and dairy and wheat and all the crap that's really not in your highest, that just jams up your channel even more. Or if you're selling yourself down the river and falling for the guy and being treated like a jerk, right? That's bandwidth. So all of this really is in the way of your ability to actually feel and receive and see the guidance. So just be mindful. Do your best to get quiet, to find time to be with yourself, whether it be a morning practice, whether it be a spiritual practice, a meditation practice, a walking practice, a nature practice. Whatever you can do to get quiet is going to be so helpful and so useful. I mean, it's actually non-negotiable. It's not about enlightenment, although that may be a process. It's about information receptivity. Right? Like, just let the world go away for a minute so you can actually open up and be the receiver that you're meant to be and allow the information in without judging it or without blocking it. So get quiet and lean back, right? Doing nothing, which is something, doing nothing is something. It gives you more data. It gives you more bandwidth to actually draw from because you're in less motion. I mean, think about it, right? Like, it's so much harder to get a message across to somebody who's on the go all the time. Like, where does the message get in? Like, they're just in motion. Like, what do? You like throw them a paper airplane? Here's the incoming message. Like, how do you get a message to somebody that's on the go all the time? I found it's practically impossible. I communicate very effectively. I'm a Gemini. I'm ruled by the planet Mercury. I'm a very effective communicator. I send information out all the time. And I've noticed even in sending out as much information as possible to people, they get this much. Not because they're not reading it, not necessarily even because they're not paying attention, but because they're so noisy in so many other areas that they don't even get the information that was written in front of them that they've read. And I know you know what I'm talking about because I know you've missed things. And you're like, I didn't see that. Or have you ever walked down the street it's like you drive down the street all the time, and then one day you decide to walk to work or walk down the street, and all of a sudden you're like, was that building here? Has that building been here? It must have been here. It's not new. I mean, I never saw the building. Right? You just don't see what you don't see when you're in motion all the time. You miss so much. So, Valeria, my darling, yes, if only you'd gotten this guidance a couple months ago, so much hurting and damage could have been avoided. I hear you, and now you're here, and I want you to get current with your C, feel your feelings, but know that you needed that hurt and damage for whatever reason in order to be ready in this moment to receive this information. So I encourage you to not get caught in the what if, coulda, shoulda, woulda, woulda. You're here now, and you're here now because you're more than ready, because you've experienced enough pain and suffering from the past to be available now. So I just want to offer you that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for showing up and sharing that, and any of you that might be feeling that way. And I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Apologies if I did not. Okay, so in the last bits here, slow down, lean back, listen, right? All of these things. Trust yourself. Look for the breadcrumbs. And some of the other ways is just you might want to jot these down. And we don't have enough time to go into these in detail because I want to get to the questions, and we're right at the top of the hour. But you can always ask for guidance. Like, just ask. Help. I need help. Where's the guidance? Just be ready to receive what comes, and don't push away the strange little messages that may come in. I've asked for guidance before, and I poo-pooed what has come, and I've paid the price. So be willing, and you can just have a notebook. You can just sit quietly for 10 minutes and be like, I'm needing support in this. What guidance do you have? Oh, I got a hit to call my sister. Well, that makes no sense. I'm just going to write it down anyways. Oh, I got a hit to go eat an orange. Okay, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to write it down, right? So ask for guidance. Write down what comes. Meditation. I can't say enough about meditation. It doesn't matter if you know how to meditate, if you've ever meditated, if you're a noisy mind. It doesn't matter. Just simply sitting quietly in contemplative openness is powerful. It's just like, slow down enough for a message to come. Just sit the frig down. Stop, sit, receive, open up your channels. You'll be amazed at what comes through. Pleasure practices, which we covered in the first video. I do actually teach a whole course. I will be going into further depth with that in the longer course, the Magic Manifest and Miracles course. But pleasure practices are so great for getting downloads because you're in the heightened high vibrational frequency state that match your desired feelings. I mean, you can't get much more in a heightened state for receptivity. So you'll be, next thing you know, you'll be like on the walk, like I'm having my little pleasure practice, I've gone for a walk into nature, I'm connecting with the trees, and next thing you know, a bird's gonna fly by and you're gonna go, oh, and you're gonna get the guidance, right? So these are the amazing, amazing things that happen when you're in your pleasure. Why pleasure is such a high frequency, potent attraction factor to all of your desires. So get in your pleasure practices, you will get guidance in your pleasure practices. I mean, you know this. It's like when you're driving in a car and you're just listening to the music and or in the shower, you're enjoying the water, you're enjoying getting clean, and that's where the downloads come. Sometimes even going to the bathroom is where the downloads come because you're just taking a moment away, you're sitting down, you're outflowing with your pee, and all of a sudden you're like, ding, ding, ding. Right? So these are all beautiful places. The other last thing is opening up your senses to what's right in front of you. The version of this is stop and smell the roses, right? Just oh, wow, right? Oh, ding, 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 right? So you just might find a breadcrumb or an answer to your desire in the most unlikely of places. All right. Valeria, yes, you have pronounced it just right. Thanks for that, and thank you so much for your words. Shedding tears of emotion for the moment. We're with you, sister. Yeah, and you're here now, and we love you, and we're so grateful. Yeah. Okay, so I know that every single one of you has feelings of insight, guidance, intuitive hits. Just remember when you've had those and call them forward. Just tap back into it. Again, if you're in a state of other than pleasure or fun or joy, just come into this sisterhood and get some love. This is not just boards where you're like, you know, the threads on the Facebook. It's not just like, yay! There's moments where you're like, I'm feeling like crap right now. And get the love and the remind, just like Valeria, you were so beautiful. You shared your sadness with us, and we were able to lift you up in this moment and help you come back into alignment with your truth. We welcome that. We welcome that fully here in this community. That's why it's a closed group. So, just want to point that out. All right, so the key is to trust those insights, trust the guidance, trust the intuitive hits, and stay in the listening and the leaning back phase. Steps 2 and 3, lean back, listen, until you've gotten all the information. Don't leap too soon. I mean, you can, you'll learn, but I want you to, this is the places that's a little bit more tricky, to lean back and listen, lean back and listen. So linger in the lean back and listen while lingering in your desires. The leaping will be the easy part. So stay in these first 3 steps. Give yourself enough breath to be in that. Or risk stepping right back into that pile of doo-doo and stinking up your joint. All right. Last but not least, there is, I think we kind of covered this, but I know that some of you may be like, well, I don't understand the difference between my fears and intuition. We don't have space or time to cover that today, but I do know that if you Google that, there are some really, really, really amazing articles, because I just Googled it because I was going to maybe go into some of it. There's so many great articles from so many great places that are valid and great resources that will teach you the difference. So if you're one of those women that are just like, I don't understand, just give yourself a couple minutes or 10, 20 minutes to Google and read a couple articles, and you'll get a better sense of that. But here's just one tool that I really want to leave you with before we open up to questions. And this is going to help strengthen your intuition. It's a very simple mantra that I want you to remember and play with and work with. This is pretty much your home play. I mean, your home play is all of the activities that I have offered you, to being in the listening, right? Meditating, pleasure practices, writing things down, asking for guidance, writing them down, slowing down. Those are all home plays. Okay, those are the very specific home plays I want you to take. But this is the one really tangible tool that I'm going to give you right now. When it comes to intuition, when you really want to hone your intuition and get clear and start to differentiate that from all the other voices, is, write this down, if you think about it, just do it. Don't question it. Just do it. And quick little examples. It's like you're running out the door, you're going to meet a friend, it's a super hot day, and you're like, it's like 90 degrees, and you're like, and your voice says, grab a jacket. And you're like, why would I grab a jacket? It's hot out. Well, if you think about it, do it. Because that's your intuition speaking, and your mind's wanting to overrule it because you're like, it doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. Why would I have a jacket? It's hot out. It's going to be 90 degrees all day. Because I can guarantee that when all of a sudden the storm comes in and the weather changes quickly, or you find yourself on a beautiful frolic and then you end up at the beach and it's 20 degrees cooler and you didn't even realize you were going to be at the beach and you have nothing to wear and you're freezing your ass off, you're going to be not only pissed off that you didn't grab that jacket, but you're going to be beating yourself up double time because you overrode your intuition and didn't actually do what you knew you needed to do to take care of yourself. So if you think about it, do it. It takes 2 seconds to run back in and grab the jacket. It takes 2 seconds to go back to your car and roll up the window. It takes 2 seconds to act on many of the very quick hits of intuition that later you will be thanking yourself for. So if you think about it, do it. Let that be your mantra, even if it doesn't make sense. My husband has a great story, and I'll share tomorrow because we're running out of time. But he has a great story about a really ridiculous hit of intuition he had, and he wished he had followed it because it would have made his life a lot easier had he just done that simple little thing that made absolutely no sense. So tune in tomorrow. I'll tell that story, and I will bring you steps number 4, which is where the juice is leaping into action after you have mastered these first 3 steps. Okay. So tomorrow, same time, same bat channel, 12 noon, 3 p.m., 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here. This video will be pinned to the top, so if you want to go back and watch it, or if you're watching it new, I'm super happy to have you here. We'll be wrapping this up tomorrow, and there's going to be some really beautiful, fun things that I'm going to probably sprinkle in throughout the week. But I do want you to go check out the Magic Miracles and Manifestation program and watch that video. Get some more of me, hear some more of these stories, and just feel into if it's right for you. I will say this, I got the hit, and it's funny that I brought up the Tame Your Inner Critic piece. I have a 6-week Tame Your Inner Critic home study course, and earlier I was thinking about that. I'm like, you know what? If you go and you want to sign up for this program and you're a yes, go there, sign up, and anybody that signs up between now and Monday, I'm going to actually give you, that bonus is not even on there, but I'm going to give you the entire Tame Your Inner Critic home study course, which is an amazing complementary piece to this work that we're doing here and what we'll be doing in the Magic, Miracles, and Manifestation course, because it's going to actually give you a whole nother way to work with your inner guides and your voices and everything else. And that program is $1,000 program. So I'm just like, here you go, have it. But it's because you're a yes, and you're saying yes, and you want to sign up, and you want to take this next adventure with me. So between now and Monday, which is June 5th, my birthday, if you sign up for that, you will get an entire other course as my gift to you. So that's it for today. Reminder, the videos are going to remain live, so you can watch them at any time. If you have girlfriends that haven't quite plugged in, but you know they need to be here, go do your sister tribe activism and get them here. Get them watching the videos, even if you have to forward the videos to them. Or if you need them to be sent to them, you can text or Facebook me or tag them and I'll post the video for them. Whatever we need to do to get them dialed in, I am 100% at your service. We want these ladies in the same conversation. We want to spread this as far as possible so we can override the Grand Canyon that has been carved out for all of us and recreate our own beautiful, beautiful, beautiful canyon of new possibility from old world, old beautiful medicine and magic from the past that we all have and we're ready to bring forward as the norm. As the norm. Yay. All right, so be sure to report back in. I want to see, I want to hear from you. I want to know what's going on. Be vocal, be visible. Share what's ever happening for you in this group. I'm going to be in this group often. I'm not always in this group, so you got my eyes, my ears, my heart, my soul. I'm here and available for you while this is happening, so take advantage. Ask me questions, share, tag me. Like, I'm going to do my best to be as much interactive with all of you as possible over these next couple days, and make sure to come back tomorrow for the final piece of this formula. I'm so excited to give it to you. Once again, that link is lifestyleize.com/manifest, lifestyleize.com/manifest. Check it out, see what you think. Give me feedback. If you're like, I kind of want it, but I don't know, Sierra, please let me know. I want to know what's in the way. And the other cool thing is, if there's any questions, there's a form you can fill out, and we can actually hop on the phone and just have a chat. It's just like, let's get you clear. I'd love to talk to you. So go fill that form out if you want to just have a little one-on-one time with me. I would be more than honored to get connected and know you more personally and have that conversation. Okie dokie. So question time. I would love to hear. This is a time where if you have any questions at all about anything that I've shared thus far, yesterday, the day before, today, punch them in. And anything else at all, and if not, or if you don't have a question, I would love to get a little favorite frames. We end every call, every gathering that I am hosting with what we call favorite frames. That's where you share a little nugget of wisdom or an aha that you got or something that somebody said, myself or anybody, and you just share that, and that's your favorite frame, and it's a way to digest and inculcate into our beingness that which we just received from this journey together. So share a favorite frame or share a question, and I'll be here for the next bit of time. We're at the almost quarter past the hour mark, and I'm available for anything you have to share. So let me know, or if you just want to say, I love you, Sierra, I'm so excited, this has been so amazing, that's fine too. I'll take any form of love, feedback, or questions at this time. I'm just going to lean back myself and listen for your love. All right. Cindy says, path of least resistance is knocking on your door. Yay, mama. Pleasure practices are high frequency. Woohoo! Favorite frame, doing nothing gives you more data and bandwidth. Yeah, that is a good one. That's a good favorite frame. Remember that one. Favorite frames, if you intuit, do it. Oh, that's a great way to put it. If you intuit, do it. Thanks, Crystal. That's a good one. I love it. You and I got to hang out more. Yay. Love it, love it, love it. All right, ladies. Well, again, if you have any questions that come up beyond this time, please go ahead and post it in the Facebook group. Just make sure you tag me so I'm alerted, because I'm managing the events and the posts and everything else. Oh, let's see what Michelle got. Love the think about it, do it, because I only listen about 50% of the time. Yep, I know, it's kind of a thing for us. And I think I think, and a lot of my guidance comes from out of the blue, and I'm in action before I know I'm taking action. Yes, and what else does that say? Well, I don't know, I gotta get the rest of that comment. Yeah, exactly. This is a way to really bolster up our intuition. It so wants to guide us. It's so our natural state, and it totally doesn't make sense in this crazy matrix construct that we've created. So let's change the construct, rewire the matrix, recreate the illusion and the hologram. That's what we're doing here, ladies. It's not about changing the world outside. Let that world go. That world's gonna do what it's gonna do. It's about changing our world inside. One of my favorite quotes from Deepak Chopra is, "We are not in the world is in us." I mean, that just gives me chills, right? It's like, oh, the world's in me. Like, all the polluted waters, I've polluted my waters. All the idiocracy of our democracy, I've created. How can I love this world more? If it's in me, then I need to tend to it more. And that's what we're doing. We're tending to our inner world here so that we can actually recreate, redesign, realign, redefine, which is the motto of Life Stylized, our outer world. And we can create a new hologram. All right, Michelle Bache says, favorite frame, even when it seems illogical, just do it immediately. And especially when it seems illogical. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. All right. Kimberly's favorite frame, listen. Oh yeah, listen, listen, listen. And even if you think you're listening, if you want to jump, you're not listening enough. Listen beyond the moment where you think you've already listened. It's the deep well, the deep well, the deep well, the deep well. All right, cool. Oh, Michelle, you always thought that the things that you did were just following distractions. Right, that's what the world wants you to think. All this ADD stuff, I don't know. You know, everyone's like, oh, you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that. I just had a conversation with one of my housemates who is, by human design, whole other conversation if you've never heard of human design, she's a manifester. And she's caught up thinking she needs to be a generator, and she's tried to generate her whole life. And she has labeled herself and is now unlabeling herself ADD. I'm like, no, you don't have ADD. You've just been actually living outside of your own unique design, which has caused you to feel totally sporadic and scattered, right? So there is wisdom. And if we don't follow our own wisdom, and if we're dancing to the beat of somebody else's drum, which is not our rhythm, we're gonna look like we can't dance. So start dancing to the beat of your own drum, to the beat of your own rhythm, to the beat of your own knowingness, and you're going to be as graceful as a swan. And you're going to love life a lot more. And all that judgment and all those inner critics will get in line. Believe you me. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. I could sit here and spout more and more and more. So I'd love to hear, what other things you might want to request of me that we could do in the future. But for now, let's stay focused on our 4-part formula. Check out the offering of the next 8 weeks, then over the summer with me. And until we meet again tomorrow, have a beautiful, fabulous, linger, lean back, and listening 24 hours until we meet again. All right, everybody. Mwah. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.